Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hoshizora no Memoria. And someone seems to be pissed. Who could it be? Her sister was late. That's probably Komomo. How long does she plan to stay out for? The Tenkuru is holding their club activities. The one who acquired the license for them to use the rooftop was none other than herself, so she can't exactly complain. And that's exactly why she's so pissed. Why did she, despite hating the stars, get herself involved with the Tenkuru and end up having to deal with all this? Ever since he transferred in, her plans have inevitably gone astray. Her plans? What plans? She had intended to abolish the Tenkuru in the second semester, that plan, and leave this home, this shrine, after she had graduated. If she does that, she can start her life anew. She can say goodbye to everything related to the stars. There is no mistaking that her new place will be pleasant to live in. And yet, such a future she had envisioned feels as if it has been devoured. She has to tolerate the Tenkuru's continued existence whilst she's still enrolled at school, but she'll be free of that once she graduates. Being the eldest daughter, she's the successor to the shrine, and as such, she has been the head dancer for the Tanabata festival since last year. If she leaves behind all her responsibilities, her sister will have to shoulder all the burden. When she has her career interviews next year, she'll probably be subjected to frequent family meetings. She gets depressed just thinking about them. Mayaka laughs after saying that and takes a look around the living room. She hates her mom's unpleasant smile just as much as she hates the stars. She grunts. What? How is she supposed to call you then? I mean, it would be weird if your mother calls you by your family name. She is at a loss for words. Sei Tengu, a shrine named after the stars. It's also related to their many generations of worship. As she hates the stars, she isn't very fond of the shrine. If you were to ask why she hates the stars, that would be because... Mayaka leaves the living room. She's probably going out to look at the night sky, as she had said before. As there are a few homes around the shrine, the lights from the streets don't hinder stargazing. She throws herself down on the floor, cushioned sulkily. Her skirt flips over from her sun movement, exposing her underwear. However, since nobody's around, she doesn't mind. Why does she hate the stars? Observing the stars from the rooftop is inconceivable, and stargazing at the lookout is even more inconceivable. But what could the reason possibly be? There is no answer. She doesn't know herself, so she can't answer that. That's why Komomo can't answer why, regardless of who asks. She is unable to tell her reason to neither her sister nor Yo. However, if she were to really attribute a reason to it, physiological dislike is probably the most likely cause. Such as one's tastes in food. For example, Kumomo hates pumpkins. She can eat sweet potatoes normally, and she enjoys pumpkin in soups and in desserts, but she can't take boiled or fried pumpkin. There's no reason behind it, she hates it because she just does. Isn't that what personal preference is all about? So there's no use in worrying about it. No matter how disappointed Kosame is, and no matter how much of a grudge Minahoshi has against her.
小笠原君に勧められたからって、私が天体観測することはありえないのよ。あんた、そんな格好だとパンツ見えるわよ。外出たんじゃなかったの？
Her knee knocks into the desk when she suddenly sits up.
何やってるんだか。なんでお母さんがいるのよ。なんかね、曇ってきたみたいでさ、すぐ戻ってきたわ。そう。
She sits up properly while rubbing her knee.
流星群は数日見えるだろうし、明日に持ち越すわ。明日も晴れとは限らないじゃない。今年がダメでも来年がある。明けない夜がないように晴れない空もないわ。あんただって同じかもよ。何がよ。空模様が移ろうのと同様、あんたの心模様だって移ろってるんじゃないかってこと。何を根拠に。今年の神楽、去年よりも楽しそうに待ってたわよ。
She denies it without even thinking of the reason for it.
もしそう見えたんなら、老眼でも始まったか、アルコールの過剰摂取で視界が歪んでいたかのどっちかね。本当に親不孝者ね、この子。そりゃあ元ヤンキーのお母さんの子だからね。流れ星、見えなくなってきたね。
The sky appears to have gotten cloudy. Well, it's not that cloudy yet. Looking at the drifting clouds, I get the feeling that it won't be long until the entire sky is obstructed.
雨警報は鳴ってないから、雨の心配はないけど。
She says that while straining her ears.
曇りまではさすがにわからないんだよね。
It's gotten pretty late, so we might be better off calling it a night. She's unhappy.
ペルセウス座流星群の本番は夜半からなのに。
0時を過ぎると放射点の高度が高くなって流星が見やすくなるからね。だけど屋上の使用は11時までだよ。
展望台で二次会って手もありますよ、りょうくん。
Mare grabs onto my sleeve.
私、そろそろ。
Time to leave? She gives a deep nod.
行くよ、カーくん。
Hot, 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 hot.
じゃあね。
Do you have to set me on fire every time you greet me?
疲れてる証拠じゃないの。
Mare leaves without a hint of concern. The starlight gradually becomes weaker.
メアちゃん、天体観測楽しんでくれたかな。
Who knows? She doesn't let things show on her face and her words are brief.
葵ちゃんと同じだね。死ねばいいのに。
Though she's still a ways off compared to Aoi and her sharp tongue. Also, I feel that Mare is trying to suppress her emotions. She's insisting that she isn't a child and is trying to act mature. That's the impression I'm getting. Just like the girl from the lookout.
メア君の気持ちがどうあれ、来てくれないよりはずっといいさ。
That's true. Whilst Mare doesn't admit to liking what she likes, she clearly states her dislike for things she doesn't like.
それじゃ、帰る準備を始めようか。
もうお開きなんですか？
そろそろ11時だ。時間も押しているしね。
Asuho, we still have half our summer holidays remaining. It's not as if it's ending right now.
次の活動はお盆が終わった後でしょうか。
そうなるだろうね。
Asuho, is that alright with you?
小笠原さんの言葉には素直ですよね。意味深に言わないでよ。葵ちゃん、何が意味深なの？私に聞かないで。
She starts packing up the telescope as it starts to get awkward. On the way home, I've gotten used to carrying the telescope, so I no longer have any trouble going up and down the hill. We thought about leaving it in the club room, but Asuho said she wanted it with her for Obon, so I ended up carrying it.
葵ちゃん、ちなみも望遠鏡持つの手伝うよ。近寄らないで、触らないで平気だから。遠慮することないのにな。
It seems that Aoi is also used to it already, as she's walking right behind us.
ようちゃん。
What is it?
覚えてる？今夜は初め の天体観測だったんだよ。
It didn't feel like our first time though.
展望台でやってたのは星見だよ。
I suppose. I can sort of understand why Asuho was making a big deal out of it, but at the same time, I don't. Leaving Asuho's telescope at her house, we arrive in front of the station.
次の活動日が決まったら連絡網で伝え合おうか。
そうですね。みんなお盆はゆっくりしてね。
You too, do your homework.
ほんと、ようちゃんってお母さんみたい。
Mom's image flashes through my head for a split second. Speaking of Obon, we'll have to pay a visit to her grave.
それでは失礼しますね。
今日は楽しかったよ。
またね、みんな。
The three of them all start heading home.
鈴葉を連れて私も帰ります。
Yeah, thanks for participating today.
まったくです。アスホ先輩の家まで付き合ってしまいました。
Sorry for making you late.
まったくです。鈴葉ちゃんまだ寝てると思うし、ちなみが葵ちゃんの家まで送ってあげるね。
I was certain that Aoi would have refused.
まあ、その方が鈴葉も喜ぶかもしれないし。
I'm happy to see that Aoi is slowly starting to accept Shinami.
それに根性の別れになるかもしれないし。それどういう意味なの、葵ちゃん。お盆はそっちの夕飯にお邪魔しないから。お盆終わったらまた一緒に食べようね。そうならないために全力で鈴葉を調教する。こんな燃えてる葵ちゃんは初めて見るよ。
So it turns out that I still don't know if Aoi has accepted Shinami or not. "13th of August, the day when people pay respects to the dead." It seems that there are a lot of residents in Hibarigasaki who visit graves. That being said, there aren't as many people visiting graves compared to the attendance numbers at the summer festival. The Seitengu doesn't house graves. And thus, whilst the cemetery on the outskirts of the town may be flourishing, she spends Obon leisurely every year. She's climbing up Yume Misaka. Today, being Obon, the dusk is dead silent. The fact that Hibarigasaki is a country town only makes the place seem even more deserted. Going on a walk may be somewhat lonely, though her objective wasn't to have fun. Passing Hibariko, she heads onto the path that leads to the lookout.
ここに来たのはどのくらいぶりかしらね。
Whilst she had never been to the lookout, she has walked up as far as the fence. She knows there is an area close to Hibariko that's off limits, but she's just confirming it as a member of the SRC.
何も変わってないわね。
She isn't just referring to her surroundings. Her head aches, she feels sick. It was like that before too. She cannot come to like the air that's being carried over the fence. She despises a place she has never entered. That's why she knows without having to enter. In addition to food that one develops a dislike for after tasting, there are also foods that one dislikes even before trying them out. She is able to conclude that she will have a difficult time approaching the lookout just from standing in front of the fence. That's why her hate for this lookout isn't attributed to a dislike of the stars alone. However, that would mean the reason for her hate of the stars remains unsolved. She's unable to reach a conclusion even after coming here today. That's why in the end she is unable to tell anyone why she has this dislike other than it being attributed to physiological factors.
もしかしたら平気になってるんじゃないかって期待した。
But it appears that she still cannot cope with the lookout. She came here today to confirm that. The reason she suddenly got this idea was partly because she had some free time due to Obon. However, she had also been influenced by her conversation with her mother the other day. It doesn't have anything to do with being a member or not, just have fun observing the stars together with everyone. She doesn't have any intention of having fun, but she had a thought about observing their activities as an SRC member. As the older one, it's only natural for her to do so, since she is entrusting her beloved sister to the Tenkuru late into the night.
この分じゃ無理そうだけどね。
The Tenkuru's club activities are not held at this lookout, but on the school rooftop. She's fine with the rooftop, but once they start observing the stars, they'll inevitably consider coming here. That's why it's impossible for her to observe the stars. She should start heading back. Her headache is getting worse. Cold sweat is starting to appear on her forehead. If she stays any longer, she won't have the energy to work on her holiday homework after she gets home. She places rules and her plans above all else. She goes to great lengths to abide by them, so if there is something that she isn't good at, she will try to overcome it. If worrying alone doesn't achieve anything, she's better off giving up. She turns back in self-derision. As she does so, a person she recognizes appears. That's Setsuna. Suwa Setsuna walks over. Kumomo is surprised. Part of the reason was because she hadn't expected to meet her here. What surprised her more, however, were the clothes she was wearing. No, she's wearing the shrine maiden uniform. She smiled slightly. Work. Setsuna is a relative and an acquaintance. That being said, she hasn't really talked to her much. She hasn't known her since she was little. On the contrary, her mother had suddenly introduced her as a relative last year. She said to take care of her, as she'll be transferring into Hibariko. Apparently, she was freeloading of the Hisakaki family. However, she had declined their hospitality and they haven't had many opportunities to meet each other since then. Apart from events like the summer festival, they walk past each other at school occasionally. That's how distant their relationship with each other is. Her sister gets along well with anyone, so she talks with Setsuna often. That being said, the impression she's getting is that her sister is the one who initiates the conversations. This girl maintains a distance with others. Kumomo loses her words. Setsuna laughs, however, it appears to be a laugh only on the outside. Kumomo shrugs her shoulders. She says that over her shoulder, and then she speaks with an annoyed look. We have yet to erect Mom's grave. Onshino told us to build it on the first anniversary of her death. It was only just recently that we lost our mom. Perhaps we are still not ready to visit her grave yet. Not just during the grave visit, but we'll feel lost during the memorial service as well. I feel worried as to how I should connect with Chinami. No, I don't think she'll ever go since that happened. Our mom isn't the only one. We don't have a dad either. It was when Chinami was still an infant. He had a grave at Hibarigasaki Cemetery. Before we were aware of what was going on around us, Mom had apparently visited the grave alone, as it was far away. After we had matured a little, she had taken us there too. Chinami was with us, so it's not as if she's never been to her father's grave. However, after growing up a bit and entering primary school, Chinami had stubbornly refused to visit his grave. It was probably around that period when Chinami started to oppose Mom more often. And I, her brother, did the same. That period of rebellion is still fresh in my memory. Chinami's rebellious age was around the time before we had left Hibarigasaki. It got better during the middle years of primary school, and further diminished after we moved out. Chinami's overflowing energy came back once she had gotten accustomed to a school in the city. Her relationship with Mom and I also improved. It was a massive failure in terms of helping out with the housework, but nevertheless, Chinami returned to her former self. Mom and Chinami both smiled contentedly. However, we stopped visiting Dad's grave after we moved to the city. Maybe that's why Chinami was able to smile again. I've never discussed this with Chinami, nor have I discussed this with Mom. What did Chinami think after our return to Hibarigasaki had been decided? I don't intend to question her about it insensitively.
もしお墓参りが難しいなら無理にすることはないわよ。
Okay, Shino-san, are you going?
これから親戚の皆さんと出かけてくるわ。ようちゃんは
I will have to pass.
無理にすることはないわ。だけど姉さんのことは気にしなくてもいいのよ。
Mom had once left home. She had severed her relationship with her family and relatives. I understand that our relatives don't have any ill feeling towards Mom, as they had invited us, her children, back to live with them. Mom had said so too. The reason that she left home was due to her own choice. It was nobody's fault but her own.
もし私たちに対して気を使っているのならやめてね。みんな姉さんの子供に会いたいって言ってるんだから、ようちゃんやちなみちゃんに会いたいと思ってるんだから。
Sorry.
だからようちゃんが謝ることはないのよ。
I'll have to decline this year. That's why I'm sorry. Onshino gives a small sigh.
ちなみちゃんのため
I suppose you could say that. It hasn't been long since Mom passed away. My aim is to not let Chinami get subjected to too much stimuli. Chinami was a mummy's girl. Chinami might be feeling depressed in her room right now. You just laid waste to someone's concern for you.
文句を言ってる割にほっとした顔してるわよ。
You must be imagining things.
なんでほっとしたの？
Never mind. Anyway, what is it?
なんだじゃないよ。今日は13日だからお墓参りの日なんだよ。それはちなみたちも含めた地球人には平等に当てはまる行事なんだよ。
Not Earthlings, but just Japanese, you mean?
ちなみちゃん、お墓参りしたいの？はい、当然じゃないですか。だって天国のお母さんにちなみの近況報告しないと心配かけちゃいますから。
I'm honestly surprised. She didn't mention Dad's name, but nevertheless, she said she wanted to visit Mom's grave.
そうね。じゃあ3人で姉さんのお墓参りしようか。
Saying that, Onshino gets up.
お母さん、きっとちなみたちのこと待ってるよ。早くお参りしないと化けて出てやるって言ってるよ。
There's no way she would have been unaffected, but Chinami appears to have sorted out her heart. She's putting a lot of effort into accepting Mom's death.
待ってね。今準備するからね。
Onshino comes back shortly. She sets Mom's photo on the living room table.
ちなみちゃん、これを。
Then she passes some flowers to Chinami. Are those the flowers she was referring to when she was talking about preparing for the grave visit? Or had she prepared the flowers for Mom from the very start? Chinami. Chinami offers the flowers in her hand. We offer the flowers to the framed picture of Mom and burn incense.
お母さん、天国で元気にしてる？ちなみはね、とっても元気にしてるよ。兄ちゃんは意地悪だけど、とっても仲良しにしてるよ。しのさんは優しいから、いつも笑顔でいられるよ。都会の学校の友達とは別れちゃったけど、今でもメールで連絡取り合ってるよ。それでね、お母さん、ちなみね、ひばり校でも友達ができたんだよ。みんないい人たちばかりだよ。みんな楽しい人たちばかりだよ。お母さんが通ったひばり校でたくさんの友達と一緒にちなみは元気にしてるんだよ。だから何も心配いらないからね。お母さんは天国でいっぱい笑っててね。ちなみと一緒にいつまでも笑顔でいてね。
We place our hands together. We close our eyes. And we remember. Mom. The daughter you had insisted on giving birth to the point that you left home, is doing well, as her report has suggested. She's doing so well, nobody can even keep her in check. If anything, she's at the point where I want her to slow down. So please rest assured. Please rest assured knowing that the grinding I occasionally do is just brotherly affection. Please put on a smile. Also, please watch over us. Please watch over Chinami. I'll also protect her. I, your son, will protect your beloved daughter at all costs. That's why I won't let Chinami cry ever again. But you made her cry a few times. I remember that, you asshole. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Hoshizora no Memoria. Thanks for watching, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, have a good life. Bye bye.